Hi, my name is Dan Pereira, and I am the Parks and Recreation Director here in Lincoln, Massachusetts.
And I'm Chris Fastiano. I'm with the Parks and Recreation Committee and the Community Preservation Committee.
And I'm Patty Donahue, also with the Parks and Recreation Committee. We've created this short video to introduce you to the 100 Bedford Road project, which will be going before town meeting. And it's a really unique opportunity that we're very excited about. In this one property, we're able to create an athletic field, the first in more than half a century, conserve some land, and create an option for solar energy. We're able to achieve this through our partnership with the Rural Land Foundation, Birch's School, Parks and Recreation, and the Conservation Commission. We'll be asking for your support of this project, again, as I mentioned, on Saturday, March 25th.
So this is an aerial image of the property. It's the former Wang family property. The yellow lines show you that it is 16 acres. This project encompasses only 12 of those acres, as Birch's School has already purchased their 4. The property is centrally located in that it is very accessible from the center of town as well as from the north. We think it's also accessible by both vehicles and pedestrians. So there's a roadside path that runs the length of Bedford Road, so you can approach on foot, on bike, or by car. It abuts existing conservation land. It's not the most obvious location for an athletic field, as it's fairly wooded, hilly, and rocky, but we see it as a creative solution. And if we don't do something with this property, there's the potential to develop it into 2 or 3 housing lots. Land conservation in Lincoln is a long-standing core community value. This land has been of interest for many years. It protects critical watersheds around the Flint's Pond area, provides important trail connections, and it creates a solar opportunity for the town. In the March 2016 town meeting, the town expressed an interest in installing solar panels on conservation land up at the transfer station. In order to use existing conservation land, the state requires a new piece of conservation land be swapped in its place. The state has informed the town that the conservation land at the Wang property is an acceptable swap. So although we did not begin investigating this project with the idea that it would help green energy in Lincoln, we're pleased that this extra benefit has been created. Our athletic fields are in hazardous condition, as anyone that plays on them can tell you. They're overused and they are lacking irrigation. Even though we spend almost $30,000 a year on maintenance, it's not enough to undo the damage that is done to them annually. The Parks and Recreation Department has been looking for a new field for the past 15 years. Our search has been reflected in 2 open space and recreation plans filed with the state, the Comprehensive Long-Range Plan, various school building needs assessments, and the most recent campus master planning process.
There's strong demand for our recreational facilities, and in particular our fields. As you can see on this slide, there are a number of different groups who are using the fields. Youth sports in particular have grown over the past few decades. While in the past, kids would play in backyards and fields, today, through organized athletics and teams, kids are playing on these fields 3 to 5 days per week versus 1 to 2 days per week.
Given our concerns, the Parks and Rec Committee and Lincoln Youth Soccer contracted with Stantec Engineering to study our fields this past fall. This slide calculates the number of hours each field is used on a weekly basis, broken out by the 4 major user categories. You'll notice the fields on Ballfield Road, Smith, Brooks, and Codman are used between 34 and 60 hours per week. Town Hall Field is slightly underused because it has significant drainage issues, but even when it's addressed, it won't provide enough relief. This blue line represents the recommended weekly use for a natural grass field, between 15 and 25 hours per week. Stantec confirmed that the campus fields are heavily overused compared to recommendations, and that our poor conditions are a result of this overuse and lack of irrigation, which are leading to compaction, reduced topsoil, exposed rocks, excessive weeds, and increased chance of injury. They confirm that increasing our field inventory and adding irrigation to all fields are critical steps to improving the fields. Parks and Rec are committed to pursuing both. This project focuses on improving our inventory. When we add in this new 100 Bedford Road property, and shift the same number of users and the same number of hours amongst the 5 different athletic sites, you can see that we reduce use on a number of the fields significantly. This is going to help not just the new field, but other fields around town as well. You will note that a couple of the fields on Ballfield Road would still be overused, so any development of the Ballfield Road campus should continue to explore opportunities to create new ball fields, but this new facility will help significantly.
This project encompasses 16 acres. Of those 16 acres, Birch's School has already purchased 4 acres and will not be part of our funding. Of the remaining 12 acres, 9 acres will go into conservation, and 3 acres will be allocated to Parks and Recreation to create a 110-yard by 70-yard field, large enough to accommodate a full-size field or 2 small-sided games. Opportunities like this don't come along often. This slide shows you a concept plan of the site with the attached parking lot, which will be built and maintained by Birch's School. This represents a $500,000 savings to the town. As part of the parking lot, the town of Lincoln would receive a permanent easement, meaning that we'd be able to use the parking lot whenever we wanted. And should anything ever happen to Birch's School, we'd still maintain that easement. There is on site, connected to Birch's School, a restroom which can be accessed through the outside with an outdoor timer. We will be splitting the cost of that restroom with Birch's School. In addition, on this slide you can see plantings and fence line along the north side. This will limit views for the neighbors and prevent balls from rolling down into the street. On this slide, what you're looking at is the site plan, which was approved by the planning board. On the bottom half of the center of the slide, you'll see a meandering footpath on which children can use to walk from Bedford Road up to the field. There is no vehicular access on Oak Knoll, and otherwise cars will drive down Bedford Road and take a left into the parking lot. Project costs. The cost of the land for both the 9 acres going into conservation and the 3 acres going into recreation is $800,000, a well below market price. Field construction costs are $1.2 million, and the project total is $2 million.
Funding for this project will come from 2 buckets. Lincoln Youth Soccer is in the process of raising $200,000, and Town Meeting Warrant Article 11 will ask the town to approve $1.8 million in Community Preservation Act funds. The Community Preservation Committee has recommended a mix of financing which includes $500,000 from currently available general fund and $1.3 million bonded over 15 years. For those not familiar with the Community Preservation Act, the state legislation allows funding for projects in 4 different areas and 4 areas only: community housing, historic preservation, open space, and outdoor recreation. Lincoln has participated in the Community Preservation Act since 2003. One of the attractive parts of this financing option is it comes with a state match. The proposed funding mix preserves flexibility for future Community Preservation Committee projects. Between collections and state match and balance carried over from this year, there will be approximately $1.3 million available for fiscal year 2019 CPA eligible projects. This leaves plenty of capacity to fund not only the debt service on the town hall project, but any additional CPA eligible town priorities. The bonding element will be funded as a general obligation of the CPA. The debt service steps down each year, so initially debt service is $135,500. Each year it lowers until the last year it will be $87,975. This debt structure preserves the flexibility for the town going forward. There will be no new tax burden to fund this project or fund the debt service going forward. The CPA surcharge will not change. It's 3% today and will remain 3% in the future. And given that the bond is an obligation of the Community Preservation Act, the rating agencies treat it as a separate debt instrument, which will have no impact on the town's ability to bond other projects going forward, such as the school or the community center.
So what are the next steps? If this project is approved at March town meeting, we would purchase the land from the Rural Land Foundation. Shortly thereafter, we would begin the field construction process, which we anticipate would run through this upcoming summer and be completed in early fall. Then we would want 2 growing seasons for the field turf to establish. That would be fall of 2017 all the way through spring of 2018, with the hope of opening the field for use in the fall of 2018.
So why vote yes? First, the site's being offered to the town of Lincoln at a below market value. Second, the partnership with the Rural Land Foundation makes the financial timeline viable. The shared amenities with Birch's School make this transaction cost efficient. It addresses our need for a new athletic field and supports our community value of conservation. It's a fantastic and great use of CPA, or Community Preservation Act funding. It's financed with no new tax burden to Lincoln residents, and it's supported by selectmen, the school committee, finance committee, and capital committee. And last, it's a great investment for future generations of Lincoln families.
So thanks for sticking with us through this presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at my email, dpereira@linknet.org, or you can call the Parks and Recreation office at 781-259-0784. There will be a brochure mailed to every household in Lincoln coming from the Rural Land Foundation, which should also answer your questions. And most importantly, we hope to see you at town meeting on Saturday morning, March 25th. We really need you there to support this project with your vote. Thanks so much.